All right, here we are. Welcome, Queen Kimmie.
Hi,
Hi, I'm so excited you're here.
I'm excited to be here, Michelle. Thank you so much for
Yay,
having me.
absolutely. So I met Queen Kimmie at an event that we both went to, and she was going to be speaking on stage. And this woman just she clears out a room with her energy. Like she walks in the door and you know Queen Kimmie is in the house. And it is because she is this beautiful combination of this just loving light energy and this kick-ass confident, like I've got something to say kind of energy. And it's just I got to meet her and hang out with her for a little bit, and we had some talks about our husbands and all kinds of fun stuff. And then I got to join a coaching program with her, and it's just been such a blessing to have her there, her beautiful energy, the work that she's doing with women to confidently rock the stage, the work she does with her husband. Oh my goodness, we'll probably touch into that at some point today because I think it's just so juicy and fun to watch the two of you do your thing. It's so sweet and so much fun.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm going to read Queen Kimmie's bio, and then we're just going to launch right on into the conversation because that's what we tend to do. So Queen Kimmie helps creative visionaries with a heart to serve, develop the mental resolve to clarify their story and turn their story into a career so that they can make an impact and income while doing what they love, allowing them to help others do the same. She strongly believes that once you take care of your own foundation and framework, you can build the life and business you dream of with confidence and clarity. Known for her heartfelt passion and no-nonsense, tell it like it is approach in her teaching, speaking, coaching, writing, and just plain living, her energetic, power-packed lifestyle coaching and programs have changed and impacted hundreds of lives with real life transformation. With her dynamic personality, she's taken the world by storm through significant social media presence, creative style, and energetic messages, and she hosts innovative training and workshops that are engaging, entertaining, and educational. Edutainment is what she calls it. I love that. Yay! Welcome.
I know. I thought I was inventing a word when we came up with edutainment, and then we started using it, and then everybody that I met in the creative space said, that's what we do, edutainment. So I was like, oh, so I didn't invent a word.
Well, you just know you hit on something, right? When we hear it somewhere else, it's like, oh, I was on track. Okay. There's more of us out there. Beautiful.
Exactly, because one thing that I just, in the corporate world, in the military, one thing, every time you go to a meeting, you just think death by PowerPoint, right?
Yes.
And I was like, oh. So every time I gave training, I always look for an extra boost to it so that people want to come to the training. So when they would hear, hey, Sergeant Tyson's giving the training, oh, everybody knew they were going to have a great time. They knew it was going to be engaging. They knew they were going to be entertained. They knew they were going to be involved. And they knew that they walk away remembering what they came to that training for, because I had a way of bringing it all full circle and making it fun.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, that's definitely my drama therapy background. I was often a trainer in any job that I had because they knew that I'd bring fun exercises and just different things to shake things up. And I love that. Yeah. So death by PowerPoint. Totally.
Did you play school when you were a kid?
I totally did.
Oh my God, me too.
I totally did.
Were you the teacher?
I was always the teacher.
And if I was, I used to be like, well, I don't want to play.
My poor little brother was always the guinea pig. I was the teacher. He was the student. I was also the priest, and he was the,
Oh my gosh. Okay.
He would cut up bread and smash it. Get grape juice. I'd say some kind of prayer, and he'd have to sit there. Sorry, Danny.
And I'm gonna tell you, we played it. We called it playing church, and we marked the preacher, and we get out there, and we had to make sure we were far away from the house so our grandmother couldn't hear us playing that one.
Exactly. So let me ask you this then. Queen Kimmie, you have a story about church as it relates to your own personal power, as it relates to trusting what we believe versus what we're told and what we're taught. So why don't we start there? That sounds like a great place to launch.
Ooh, that is a great place to launch. You know, I'm actually on a summit coming up, and the lady interviewed me and she said, "Oh, you're a Christian rebel." I said, "I'm not a Christian rebel. I'm a religion rebel."
Yes. That's the name of this group, right? Sacred Rebels.
Okay, I love it. So I'm in the right place. Thank you. Thank you for providing a space for us, okay?
Yes.
Because I grew up with a strong Christian background. And in the South, we called it, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost. We were very strong in the Christian background. And it's not that I don't like what we stand for. Right. What I have a problem with is I have a problem with the traditions that cause you to be more in line with the religious traditions versus the religious relationships, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So when we were growing up, we would always have issues, and you'd always get told, "Don't worry about it. Jesus will pray for you. Just pray and Jesus will fix it." That was the thing. Just pray and Jesus will fix it. Well, that caused a lot of people to not want to go and seek help for mental health issues. That causes a lot of people not to want to go when they experience something traumatic in their lives. They feel like they're supposed to just pray and Jesus will fix it. Well, how about this? How about Jesus has put people, psychiatrists and doctors and therapists in place to help you on your journey? Right. We're here to be an aid to each other, but we can't do that when we close our minds to different possibilities and different perspectives.
Absolutely.
So when you're closed-minded and you're serving God in a box, then you're closing yourself off from the miracles and the wonders and the magic of everything else that there is in the world. And when you meet someone, it's hard to understand or relate to them. You may be exactly what that person needs in that moment, but you can't be the vessel that's needed in that moment because you're so bound by tradition and religion versus relationship.
Yeah, it's like that meme that was going around forever on Facebook about the person stuck on the top of the roof during the flood, and they kept asking God for help, and then people kept coming by, "Hey, I could help you get in the boat or get in the plane or get in the," and they're like, "No, I'm waiting for God to help me." And it's like,
exactly.
Hello.
The helicopter came, remember the boat, the helicopter, everything. "Oh, I'm waiting for God, baby." And then they got to heaven and it was like, "Well, God, why didn't you save me?" "Hey, I sent you a helicopter. I sent you a boat. I probably sent you a rope. I probably gave you resources and tools to prevent you from being on the roof in the first place."
Exactly.
And it's just amazing because every time something great goes on in our life, we want to say, "Oh, yes, God did it." And when something bad goes on, we want to say, "Oh, the devil made me do it."
Right.
How about you were born with free will and you made those choices? How about some accountability and responsibility?
That? Yes. So how did you handle people in your family knowing about this rebellious religious spirit that you had?
Oh my gosh, I hid it for a long time. I was ashamed. I really thought something was wrong with me because I thought differently. I really thought something was wrong with me because I would ask. I remember being 8 years old and we were in church and the preacher was talking about the Holy Trinity. And I said, "I don't understand. That doesn't make sense to me. I'm 8 years old." And I kept asking questions. He'd give me an answer. I ask another question. He'd give me an answer. And you know me, Michelle, you know me by now, right?
Yes.
You know what I did? I ask another question. So when we got done and we went outside, I was told not to ask questions.
How devastating.
I got a spanking, Michelle. I got a spanking for asking questions. And I was told, "Don't ask questions like that to the pastor in front of everybody. If I don't understand, you know what I need to do?
Pray to Jesus and
Pray about it. Jesus will fix it. But Jesus, you know, God, where do you think where do you think our being and our essence, we're created in the image of the Creator, are we not?
Yeah.
We're born with everything we need to survive, just like a bird. You know, if a bird and the animals have everything they need and we're supposed to be in the image, you don't think we're born with everything we need?
Yeah.
We're given free will and gifts and talents that we're supposed to use and magnify and multiply. But how can we do that if we're closed off into a box and we're hiding away who we really are?
Yeah, absolutely.
So when I started to learn, I joined the military for one. First, I ran away. I ran away. As soon as I was able to run away, I ran away.
Yeah.
Lots of times, which is a sign of mental illness now that I'm older and I know that, right? So in that, I met all different types of people from all different walks of life. And I met some people, and my grandmother always told me, regardless of what, my grandmother always told me, you never know how angels come and test you.
Right.
You never know when you're being tested by an angel. So it's better to give than to receive, and always treat people with kindness. So in this, I'm meeting all these different people from all walks of life. And I'm like, so you mean to tell me this person is going to go to hell because they believe differently, because they were born in a different place in the world and they were taught something different, but their heart just as big and radiates just as bright and their light just shines, and you can look at people and see the aura coming out of their being, and you mean to tell me this person gonna go to hell because they don't believe like I was taught to believe?
Yeah.
I just couldn't buy that. And I had an experience when I was in Afghanistan. And I will share this, Michelle. I was a minister. You know, I was a Christian minister. And at one point, I was the director for the young adults at the church. And I got deployed to Afghanistan. And I was standing in line to go in and give blood. Because whenever there's something going on in Afghanistan, when you're in the military, you go to what we call the TMC, the Troop Medical Center. And you stand in these long lines to donate blood. Listen to that key word. To donate blood to save a life. And as I'm standing in this line waiting to donate blood, there was like a still feathery feeling that came over me. And it was like, do you hear that? I'm not calling for Christian blood or Jewish blood or Catholic blood or Muslim blood. I'm just calling for blood to save these people's lives. And if your blood type matches the blood that they need, then their life will be saved.
Right.
And when this blood is put into the tube, if you ever have the opportunity to see some blood, guess what color it is? It's all the freaking same.
Yeah.
And so I was in that moment, I was like, wow. You know, and so all these experiences in Afghanistan just kept happening to me. You know, Afghan native looked at me one day as I was walking and told me he felt sorry for me because I didn't know I feel sorry for you because you don't know who you are.
Wow.
I was like, I know who I am. And he doesn't speak English, but it was plain as day. Perfect English. I was walking to the dining facility to get me something to eat. It was 110 degrees. I was hot and I was sweating and I probably was delusional. But I will never forget it, plain as day. So all these experiences came to me and I realized that if you're going to serve others, you have to be able to meet them where they are. Yes. If you're going to allow yourself to be a vessel, you have to be open-minded. We call that a growth mindset.
Absolutely.
You have to allow people to have their perspective and realize that the experiences in their lives is what shaped their perspective. And that's why they are the way they are. Exactly. Just like the reason that I'm the way I am is because of the things that I went through and the way I processed them. Yeah. So when we go through self-awareness and we can say, oh, well, this is why I'm this way. We have the choice to say, oh, I do this thing because of this thing. Well, do I like this thing? No, I don't like that I do that. Well, let me change that thing.
Exactly.
Oh, I do this thing Do I like this thing? Yes, I like this thing. I'm going to hold on to that. So we have those options. And that's the choice that we have to be who we choose to be.
Yeah.
That's what they call free will.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let me ask you this. I know in my personal experience that many powerhouse women weren't always that way. That sometimes it's created as a defense. Sometimes it is a natural kind of power that's been in since childhood, but then got squashed at some point and whittled down until we realized, hey, wait a second, I don't like this. I don't want to be like this, like, and come back into, you know, our power. So tell me about a situation or a time where you did not feel your power.
A time when I did not feel my power.
Yeah.
Would you believe me if I told you all my life?
Yeah, I would. I would.
All my life, I was bound by other people's stories and other people's perspectives of who I was, how I was supposed to show up, who I was supposed to be. And even when someone does it from a place of meaning well, you know, not realizing that people do the best they can with what they have.
Right.
And every experience and everybody that I've ever come in contact with, whether it was a lesson that I was supposed to learn and grow from, or whether it was a lesson that I was supposed to just be like, oh my God, what the world? It taught me who I wanted to be and who I did not want to be.
Yeah. So
for me, my entire life, Michelle, I've had to fight. I've had to fight. Can you imagine being told, shut up, your voice is irritating. Sit down. Can I curse on here?
Yes, you can.
Sit your ugly ass down and be quiet.
Yeah.
Children are supposed to be seen and not heard.
Not heard, yep.
Get out grown folks' business. Go somewhere and play. Don't come back till the street lights come on. That's after we done clean up the house. That's what the house can stay clean all day now. Defense, okay? So when you think about those things, even though those things are well-meaning and they're to bring up a child in the way they should go so they won't depart from it, you have to think, well, where did that come from? That was a learned behavior. Those are what we call generational dysfunctions or generational behaviors and patterns that we're taught, that our parents are taught.
Yeah.
And we don't know what we don't know.
Yep. Yep.
And to this day, right now, we did the training that we just did with Les Brown when he said, write the lessons that you learned in life.
Right.
And I just said, I'm gonna do this without thinking about it. I didn't want to think about it.
Yeah.
I just wrote it. And I was so amazed at myself because I kept thinking, my mom told me, nobody owes you anything. If you want it, you better go and get it.
Yeah.
The world is not going to give you anything. If you want it, you better work hard for it. You weren't born with a silver spoon in your mouth.
Yeah.
And so that's what I do. And that put something inside of me. And not only me, my brother, my sister, we're all very successful. All of us, all my mom's kids are very successful. Why? Because we were raised, if you want it, you better work for it. Nobody's going to give you anything.
So we're, you know, and this is one of those beautiful things you were just talking about it earlier, right? Like we take these lessons and we go, is this one I want to hold on to? Is this one that I really believe? Do I believe like 50% of it? And there's this other piece that I wasn't taught, you know? So what are the disadvantages of that? So yes, you're all successful. Yes, you were raised to go get it, right? To show up and make it happen. What is the other side of that coin?
Oh my God. The other side of that is you're so strong that it's hard to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's hard to ask for help. You feel like you have to do everything yourself. It's hard to trust people. It's hard to let other people in.
Yeah.
And you become so consumed with being and fighting and moving that you forget to just allow yourself to be in the flow.
Yeah.
You forget to just breathe and let go and let whatever is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Because you're so focused and you're so goal oriented and you're such a fighter that you come into everything looking for the fight.
Right.
You know, it's like,
yes.
Oh, I'm in here. Okay. Who's the competition? Who do I have to beat? Okay. You number one. Okay. I got to get over there. So it's like you come in with this mentality. It's like, I'm a go-getter. I got to get it. And then at some point in my life, I'm so thankful that during my time in the military, I give a lot to the military because I was afforded the opportunity to be a chaplain assistant because they knew I was a minister and I was very low ranking at the time. And they needed a brigade chaplain assistant. And of all the people they could have picked, they picked little old me.
Of course they did.
And that wasn't even my job, my primary job. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I had the opportunity to be at the chapel on Sundays. And I would have to set up the chapel for every service that came in. Because remind you, we're on a military installation and they have all denominations and all faiths coming into the same chapel.
Yeah.
So when this service is done, you have to get the chapel ready for the next service. And it can be Protestant, it can be, the Muslim, whatever service it is, whatever faith it is. So while I'm watching this, I'm watching, these are different religions, but they're all doing the same thing.
I know, isn't that amazing?
I'm sitting there like, my mind was blown. Did you get that part?
They did that during, I think it was it 9/11? I think it was during 9/11. They did this thing where they surveyed there's 600 religions. So they surveyed 600 religions and came up with a list of the kind of beliefs and the first, I don't remember how many it was, but there was a ton of them that were the same across every single one.
Mm-hmm.
And that we forget that, we're so divisive in so many ways. And we forget that there is this commonality that we can start with so that we can explore the differences, because the differences are beautiful too, right? That's what makes them unique. That's what makes someone gravitate toward this one versus this one, right? It's
Exactly. And I'm going to share, when I wrote my book, when you go to school, you have to take world religions, right?
Yes.
So in my book,
oh, nice.
I laid down all of the religions. And this is 5 pages in my book of all the religions and all the common things that they have,
I love it.
How they started. And then I said, so upon my studies, what I found is that they're all basically talking about living a good life now so you have a good life when you die. That's
Bam, we're done.
Okay. So one thing that I love is that I used to be the Bible thumper, okay? I wasn't just, I was a Bible thumper. I would beat you in the head with the Bible. You better get this. You better get this Bible. And so in learning and in growing and in meeting other people and allowing myself to have more of a relationship than a religion. At one point, my mom even told me, I thought you didn't believe in God anymore. I was like, I believe, just not the way you guys believe. I think it's more important to have a relationship.
Yeah. I remember telling my mother when she wanted me to confirm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, I was such the rebel. I told her, I don't need a middleman. Thank you very much. She was so upset. Because I was like, I don't need it. I talk to God all day long. My church is stepping outside or waking up in the morning and hugging my cat, or it's happening all the time. I don't need a building or a middleman or somebody to tell me to pray in a certain way. I got it. Thank you.
The story that I love to share with people when they talk about that?
Yeah.
Is this. This is the story I share with people. Do you have kids?
I sure do.
You're a mom, huh?
I am.
Oh my gosh. So as a mom, you have kids, huh?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So the creator is supposed to be our father, mother, whatever your pleasure, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if your kids have a problem, if your kids have an issue, can your kids come directly to you and talk to you about that issue or that problem?
Well, yes, they
Or do you
can.
want them to go down the street and talk to Betty Lou? Because Betty Lou has a better relationship with your mom than you supposedly do. Come on, get out of here with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I want my kids to be able to come and talk directly to me. Exactly. I want to be able to go directly and talk to my mother, my father, you know. So if there's a direct link, if I am in the essence of the creator, why do I need a middleman? That middleman that you guys are worshiping is tired of you guys, because he's like, I came, I showed you the way, I told you what you were supposed to do. I like gave you a living, breathing example. I even told you I am and said for you to recite after me so you can say I am, and you still don't get it. So guess what? I just, at this point, yes, I'm a rebel when it comes to believing anything outside of myself. Because the voice that I needed for me in my life came from within. Yeah. I'm going to say that again.
Yes, please do.
The voice that I needed came from within, because when I was born, I was connected. Mm-hmm. I was provided everything I needed. When you lay a newborn baby on its mom's chest, that newborn baby will bop to find that milk. Yes. and start suckling. Yep. This is not something I made up. This is certified research. That baby has a natural inclination to go and find, oh.
Yep.
Did you tell it to do it?
Nope.
Matter of fact, it couldn't even understand you if you did.
Right.
Birds know, you know, when we were training with Les Brown, and Les Brown talked about birds automatically know to fly south for the winter.
Right.
But we're the smartest of all God's creations. I just want to put that out there.
We are.
We're the smartest of all the creations.
Oh my goodness. So
my mom took a while to come around to my new found belief. Right. They call me a universal spiritualist is what they call me.
Okay.
Some people call me, you know, bad things. They call me whatever they want to call me, and I don't care, because I know that at this point, my entire existence, my entire purpose is, you know, I love that Marianne Williamson quote.
Yes.
You know,
my favorite.
And that's what we're here to do. I want to let my light shine so those who are in darkness can see the light, and they can say, oh my God, what is it that you have that I can borrow? What can I take from what you have? There's a light shining over there. Yeah. Maybe I can come out of the darkness because I see that light. Be that lighthouse. Yeah. And the only way to do that is to use everything that you have to give back to others. And you can't give what you don't have.
Exactly. Yeah. That is a lesson that I work with so many women on specifically, is just like the image of a fountain. You know, if there's not water in the bottom of the fountain doesn't work. Mm-hmm. And so if we don't have stuff in the bottom of our fountain, if we don't have basic supports, if we don't have, you know, self-care practices and things that we do for ourselves, then how on earth can we expect ourselves to give? And to give from a place of, you know, freedom, like not a place of resentment or just frustration or like, oh shit, I have to do this again. You know, it's like, oh, there's plenty in there. Okay, here you go. You know, exactly. You can even splash in there. Like, let's play, you know.
I love when Lisa Nichols says, serve from the overflow. Put yourself at the front of your own service line.
Absolutely.
You know?
And it's so amazing that we're taught that that's selfish. Oh. And it's so the opposite. It's so the opposite. If I can fill my cup, if I can fill the bottom of my fountain,
Mm-hmm.
then I can serve and serve and serve and serve and serve. And I will, because that's my nature. My nature is to want to support and help and serve. But I can't do that when I'm not in a place of being able to both receive and to create the stuff that goes in the bottom of my fountain. I have to be able to do that.
Exactly. And what I found when I first started coaching, I started coaching from a place of, ooh, I want to coach. I want to coach. I want to just tell everybody what to do and how to do it and da, da, da. And as I started coaching, I realized that just like you have everything you need, Miss Kim, these women have everything that they need. They just need to be reminded
Exactly.
that they are the gift.
Yeah, a process of remembering. And like you said, if we are being mirrors for each other, and it's not about feeding each other, we're being mirrors.
Exactly. You don't have to do things the way I do them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to do things the way you do them.
Mm-hmm.
There is no one size fit all.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we have creative self-expression. When I went through school I have so many. Okay, so one thing that I did when I didn't know myself and when I was struggling to feel like I was valuable and, I didn't love myself for a very long time. I didn't know who I was. I was lost. I was confused. And so one thing I did is I wanted to feel accepted. So let me tell you, I have so many degrees, so many trainings, so many certifications, so many programs.
I feel you on that one.
And it was also, I could feel significant. So I could feel like, oh, I'm somebody because I have this degree and I have that degree. And notice that I am purposely not naming the degrees.
Yeah.
Well, you know them already, Michelle. So, but the thing is, like, I want you to see the essence of who I am and what I bring as a person.
Right.
And if there is something that I can do for you, then I will do that.
Yeah.
Not because I don't want to work with people who are only, oh, I want to work with her because she has this degree and she's done this and she's done that and she's done. No, I want to work with her because this is what I want. And I believe that she's the person who can give it to me based on her character, based on her essence, based on the way she shows up, the creative self-expression. So many times in our lives, we get to a point where people tell us once you turn a certain age, you have to stop playing. You have to be so serious and you have to be tooting for looting. And hi, my name is Queen Kimmie. And today we're going to talk about the 7 levels of self. No! What's up, everybody? My name is Queen Kimmie with an IE, and today we're going to talk about the 7 levels of self. Big difference.
Yes. Yes. And I think it's also, in many ways, the difference between the masculine and the feminine.
Ooh, speak on that.
So the masculine is very directive, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you, someone gave me this image the other day. Oh my God. It was like, I talk about the masculine and the feminine all the time, but when she gave me this metaphor, I was like, holy moly. Okay. So if you imagine an egg sits and waits. A sperm fights and tries to dominate and beat all of the other sperm and get there first and do all of this stuff, right? They're very active. They're like constantly working. They're fighting. And the egg is just waiting. And when the egg is finally merged with the sperm, the egg creates.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Oh my God. Every bell in my body just went ding, 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 ding.
Seriously, I heard that. I was like, oh my goodness. Like when you think about the essence of like feminine energy versus masculine energy and whatever gender you actually are, right? When you're looking at this energetic quality, women are supposed to be.
Yeah.
That feminine energy is being, right? Not that they're supposed to. That's putting another box on, and that's not what I'm about, right?
I
but
know
when you think about that feminine energy, right? It's like, here I am, just like you said, here I am. I'm Michelle. I'm also a speaker. I also train people to speak like Kimmie does, but we're different.
Yeah.
We're going to have our own energy. We're going to have our own style. We're going to have our own background. and what we
Exactly.
bring to the table. And there's plenty for both of us. And that's what I love about bringing sisters together, is that this is what we have to do, is highlight each other.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. And I love what you just said. There's plenty for all of us.
Oh, yeah.
So here is, so my hair is what we call sister locks. Okay. These are called sister locks. These are when we take a little small section of our hair and we interlock them to create a lock effect. It starts from the root and it grows out. When you cut a strand of your hair, did you know that a strand of your hair is unique to you, just like your fingerprint is unique to you? The essence that you bring into the world and the aura that you give off into the world is unique to you.
Yeah.
So when you speak, when you teach, when you meet other people, yeah, you can model your role models. That's great.
Yeah.
But guess what? We already have a Michelle. We already have a Queen Kimmie. What we need is you.
Yeah.
You know, one lady told me, she said, "Oh my God, I love to hear you speak. You're like a female Tony Robbins." And I was like, at the moment when she said it, I was like, "Oh my God, what a great compliment. Oh my God, I love that." And so I came back and I was talking to one of my clients and I said, "Oh my God, I had got the biggest compliment." I said, "Can you imagine how that felt?" And she said, "Yeah, but I love you and your energy a little bit more than Tony Robbins. I think there's something special about you."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I said, "Well, yeah." And then, and I also got to meet Les Brown while I was there. And can you imagine how that felt? And she looked at me and she said, "Yes, I know exactly how that felt. That's exactly how I felt when I met you, Queen Kimmie."
Oh.
I was like,
Whew.
okay.
How did you receive that?
I was literally floored, Michelle. Honestly, I was floored because I was only, you know me,
Yeah.
I was being me. I was just being me. And I had no idea that just the power of showing up can help someone just by your presence.
Yeah.
And I remember when we were in LA and you and me and some other people were standing in the back of the room and you said to me, you said, "No, Queen Kimmie, you don't have to worry about all that. Just hold space for them." And in that moment, that's what I did. Do you remember saying that to me?
I don't.
You did. You said it's just about holding space. All we do is hold space for them to blossom.
Yeah.
We just hold space for them.
Yeah. I can definitely imagine myself saying that. I mean, I talk about holding space all the time.
And that's what it's like. So when you come into the coaching world, I see so many people come into the coaching world and they think, "Oh, this, and I'm going to do this." No, holding space and being a coach, it's more about listening and allowing a person to blossom. It's more about listening and pouring water on a flower that's getting ready to bloom.
Yes, absolutely.
You know,
I love it. I love it. So one of the things that you have talked about is, well, actually, let me ask it this way. What is your definition of power?
ooh, my definition of power is knowing who you are and how you want to show up in this world, regardless of what's going on the left or on the right of you, and knowing that some days will be good and some days will be bad. But guess what? It's your choice to choose how you show up in those moments. And you can ask yourself, "Oh my God, why is this happening to me? Or what am I supposed to learn from this experience?" That's my definition of power. Being able to realize that, happiness isn't something that, "Oh, I'm going to be happy all the time." No, it's about a collection of experiences and growth processes and how we show up in those moments.
Yeah.
To me, that's power. When I can stand, a person say, "Oh, I'm unbothered You a lie. If somebody's up in your face and they blah, 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 blah in your face, you're bothered. They're in your personal, you're bothered. But it's how you respond and how you show up in that space. That's power. And people can say, oh, I have self-mastery. Well, different experiences are going to
require different things. Yeah.
Exactly. They're going to require different things. So when people say, oh, I don't return energy anymore, I just remove myself from your space. Oh, no, that's a traumatic response. That's a traumatic response.
Right.
No. I'm going to ask myself, why am I in this moment? I just had an event where I was speaking at I was speaking at this friend's event. And as I walked in, I could see like this, something, I don't know what it is. I don't know what you call it, but I can see sometimes. I can just see like colors or auras. I don't know what it's called. I don't know. It still scares me. I don't know what it is. It's just one of those things that happens sometimes. And sometimes, I'll be honest, it scares the hell out of me. Yeah. But I could just see it all around. She was just all discombobulated. She was just going. And my spirit said, you see what's happening? And I'm like, yeah, I see what's happening. So what does she need? Because she's so discombobulated, she needs peace. So when she comes talk to you, you be peace. So when she came and talked to me, I was very calm. And I just looked at her and I said, can you breathe? And she was like, can you see that? Can you see that? I said, you just need to breathe. What's going to be is going to be. You've done an amazing job. Your event's going to go, as planned. Those who are supposed to be here will be here. Just breathe. And she looked at me and she just grabbed me and she held me and we hugged. And I was like, you got this, just breathe. Yeah. But even though I was bothered in the moment, because when I got there, things changed from what was originally told to me. Had I not been able to see that when she came to me, I would have been like, hey, you lied, da, da, da. But in that moment, that's not what was needed. In that moment, what was needed was, oh my God, she's stressed out. Yeah. She's running around frantic. What does she need in this moment? Mm-hmm. And because I was able to see that energy, I was like, hey, just breathe. Yeah.
And you're also speaking to, when you mention the trauma response, like the antidote to a trauma response is presence. Mm-hmm. And so that's exactly what you're describing, right? It's like when you are centered enough in your own being, when you walk into a room or you're having your own experience and you just stop and come back into presence, you can become aware of those dynamics. And then you can be in service. If you're still in your trauma response, if you're caught up in whatever's going on in your own system and you've kind of closed in on yourself, you can't be aware of what's happening around you. And I think a lot of times, especially beginning speakers or beginning coaches who are leading events, one of the things that can happen is that they get either completely immersed in what's happening outside of themselves and worried about it, that they aren't aware of their own experience, or vice versa. They're so hyper-focused on like, I got to do it right. I got to be perfect. I got to, make sure I read all of my notes or I get this, blah, 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 and they're completely ignoring like the audience. Exactly. Right. And the balance is somewhere in between, where it's like just this kind of back and forth, like, how am I feeling? How are they feeling? How am I feeling? How are they feeling? So that I can just be present and trust my body's responses, trust what I see, trust what I'm hearing in the room, trust the energy. Because if I see the energy dip, I want to be like, okay, what are we going to do to bring this energy back up? Right. Or if everybody's like talking like crazy, what can I do to recenter? And usually it has to start with me. Exactly. Like I have to recenter.
Exactly.
Influence.
Can you imagine the first time? Well, not the first time, but one time I did a local event and I got to the place, the audio equipment didn't work. Couldn't get the AV to work. So my slides, everything I had was on slides. And
I did that.
I'm like, oh my God, it's on the slides. It's on the slides. My husband was like, babe, but you already know all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, but I have an order and I'm going to do it in order. And he was like, but babe, you already know all this stuff. And he literally pulled me to the side and he looked at me and guess what he said to me? Breathe. And so it was so funny because then I went back and I stood there and I said, you know what? We're just going to do it. And we did it. And that's the time that you probably remember we had 100% conversion of that room. The time that I did not have slides and I had to go off knowledge and
Right.
experience versus depending on something else.
That's what I really loved about the training with Les Brown.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you watch him and you see what a master he is. Like, there's this moment where you're just like, I can't fucking do that. Like, there's no way I could do that. Like, he's got every quote on the planet stuck inside his brain. He's got a story for absolutely everything. Like, I can't be him. Right. So when he challenged us to do our first 2 minutes, the thing that came to me that I realized was like, he fed it back to me, you know, the information, and I'm like pulling all these metaphors and all these things. And then I did it and I was like, but that's not me. I'm trying to copy Les Brown. Les Brown is Les Brown. Nobody's ever going to be Les Brown except Les Brown. And nobody's going to be Michelle Marie except Michelle Marie. And I had to like scrap it and just like, okay, what was the intention behind the different things that he was giving me? Like, okay, he's asking me to search for a metaphor. Okay, can I find a metaphor that's maybe not the one he gave me, but one that feels really rich and ripe to me? Mm-hmm. You know, okay, he's asking me to, you know, think about this thing. Like, can I pull that out in my own words, not trying to regurgitate his words, as freaking amazing as they were. Right. So even, you know, like the two of us who've been speaking for a while, you know, we get this opportunity to train with a master, and it's just like, what do we do with that? Do we try to copy, or do we just let go of the script?
Michelle, did you know my Les Brown story?
No, I don't think so.
When I retired from the military, that was a very hard transition for me. Mm. It was so deeply ingrained in me, and I had planned on like being one of those soldiers they take out kicking and screaming, I don't want to go, I don't want to go. So I was medically retired from the military. So I wasn't ready to go. Mm. So I was really depressed. I felt like, you know, I don't like the military anymore. They used me up and they broke me down and threw me away. Forget them. I'm never doing anything. I don't want to see these uniforms. I was depressed.
I bet.
I laid in my bed. Some days I felt so sorry for my husband and kids. Now that I look back on it, I had days I didn't even want to take a bath. Yeah. I would just get up. I would go in there. I'd look at the shower. I'd look at my toothbrush, and I'd go get back in the bed and pull the covers over my head. I didn't eat. I was just really in a really bad funk.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine said, you know, I was like that when I retired. And what I want you to do is start finding some motivational stuff to listen to. And I was like, And on top of me retiring, right when I retired, and I was so excited about, you know, okay, fine, I'm going to start this new chapter. We lost my grandmother. Mm. So I'm retired. My life is changing. Now my grandmother's gone, and she had been with us like forever. You know, she lived with us. And so it was just like so much all at once. And we started to do what we call a family and friends event for our family every 2 years. And that was what my grandmother wanted. So when she passed, in her honor, we kept doing this. And I gave a speech at the first family and friends. And my brother watched the speech. And my brother said, sis, have you ever thought about being a motivational speaker? Mm. And I was like, no. And he was like, that's kind of what you've been doing your whole life anyway. Like, no, it's not. And then he was like, are you listening to motivational things? My friend had told me to listen to motivational things. Then my brother said, have you ever thought about being a motivational speaker? And so I was like, what did he see? So I went back and I watched me speaking to my family. Mm. And my brother-in-law said, oh, look at my sister-in-law. She all speaking presidential. And I'm like, oh, wow, there may be something here. Mind you, I'm extremely depressed. They don't know that I'm depressed.
Right.
My husband, my family, my kids knew. But I did a pretty good job of not letting the world know.
Yeah.
I hid it because remember, I was always taught, What you do when you're going through something? Pray about it.
Pray.
Jesus will fix it. Okay. So I'm going through this. And so I started listening and looking up motivational speaking. And I started saying, you know what? I'm going to live. You know, I came home from Afghanistan for a reason. All those soldiers, all those memorials, all those things that I sat through, all this experience, it had to be for a reason. Yeah. There has to be a reason for this. And I started soul searching and I started listening, and it was like clockwork. Every day I would listen to Les Brown. Mm-hmm. I became a Les Brown junkie.
It's easy to do.
Okay. If there is a Les Brown speech almost anywhere on the internet, you probably want to bet your bottom dollar that I've heard it.
Right, right.
And so from listening to him and modeling him and studying him, it was just amazing. And I was working, I was doing my coaching, and I just graduated coaching school. I started my first programs, and I had clients. I was doing great. And my husband started his music, and I was like, you know what? I'm doing my business. My husband has this. And then I ran across Sean, our coach. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wait a minute. You mean you can do coaching and hip hop together? Oh, that's phenomenal. And mind you, while I was listening to Les Brown every morning, I told my husband, I'm going to meet Les Brown.
Right.
Okay? Now, this is how I say it's important to have a relationship and we're not a religion, okay? Yeah. This is where we talk about these intentions and manifesting and attraction and being intentional with your words.
Yeah.
I'm going to meet Les Brown. I found a coach who embodies everything that my husband and I are doing. Hip hop and a message, music and a message.
Yeah.
I started working with him. A few months into working with him, guess what he tells me? I share my Les Brown story, and he goes, well, guess what, Queen Kimmie? I know Les. I know Les. I'm like, what? Then he shares a picture of him and Les Brown.
Right.
Then he does an interview. And then on the interview, he goes, Les, I know you don't have time for more questions, but it just would not be right for us to end this interview and me not introduce you to Queen Kimmie. Her energy is so dynamic and she's a huge fan. Can you take one more question?
Yeah.
And Les, being the kind-hearted gentleman that he is, he said, sure, Sean, sure. And from that moment, I was, when Sean called my name, I was like a codfish. I was like, no. And then I started to tell Les Brown, you ran away from the Poke and Bean projects. The first time I ran away, I ran two Poke and Bean projects in Miami, Florida. And Les listened for just a minute, and he said, let me stop you, Queen Kimmie. The moral of the story is, you know how he does.
Uh-huh.
And he said, you got out and you found the mental resolve to reinvent your life.
Yeah.
You learned the value of community, and there's strength in that.
Yeah.
And when you come to LA, and then he just went on and on and on about all this other great stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. And then from that speaking, then the next thing you know, we're all in Rock Your Gift. Yeah. And I'm sitting there on the front row, and you saw me. Who was I sitting next to? I'm sitting right there on the front row. And when he got ready to leave, the photographer said, hey, Les, I know you're not doing photos, but you just have to take a photo with Queen Kimmie. Just like Sean said, Les, it just wouldn't be right. Then the photographer said, Les, it just wouldn't be right if you didn't take a picture with Queen Kimmie for me. And Les, the wonderful gentleman that he is, what did he say?
Oh,
sure. And so from that moment, from there to being personally trained, all of us being personally trained and getting feedback and knowledge and tips from Les, I'm thinking to myself, what if I did not believe in the power of manifesting?
Yeah.
What if I did not believe in the power of being intentional? What if I did not believe that I was worthy? What if I did not believe that I was good enough? What if I continued to hold on to the old story? What if? And then I look at all that and I think about everything I've been through, all the experiences, everything in life. And when you say, what is the definition of power? Power is knowing who you are and being intentional about how you show up.
Yeah.
That's my definition of power. Knowing who you are and being intentional about how you show up. Knowing that you don't have to be perfect. Knowing that that's what you're here for, to have growth edges. Did you catch that? I said growth edges. I didn't say mistakes. I said growth edges. Okay?
And we don't learn from perfect people. We don't want to learn from perfect people.
Exactly.
They seem impossible.
Exactly.
Our mistakes and our messiness and the way that we show up is what gives others the hope that, like, oh shit, she's a person.
Exactly.
If she can do it, then I can do it, you know?
Exactly. Michelle, I used to wait for Burger King to close and have to jump in the dumpster and eat out the garbage can. I was young, and I was gaining all the experience and resources and resources, knowledge, skills, intestinal fortitude, mental resolve, everything I need to be who I am now and moving forward. I just turned 44 years old. I didn't think I'd make it to be 44. And according to astrology, 44 is a divine number.
Yes, it is.
And I'm 44.
I'll be 48 on Monday.
No way. For real?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. I didn't know you were older than me.
Oh yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I had something about women born in July.
I know. Those cancers.
I know. My husband say we're big bags of water.
That's true. I would have to agree. On multiple levels.
I'm gonna tell you, we feel everything, and because we
do.
feel everything, we know the importance of how we make others feel. Because we
absolutely, yes.
And because like it's not. I think it was Maya Angelou who said, "People will forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel."
Mm-hmm.
And when she says that, I love it. Like when people say, "Queen Kimmie, what is your purpose?" My purpose is to be a big, bright ray of sunshine everywhere I go.
Yeah.
When I walk into a room, I want everybody in there to feel like their whole energy level just went up 10 times.
Yeah.
Why? Because the light from me that's saying, "Whoa," is contagious. I keep putting off doing this video of me holding a candle. So I want to do this video, and I've been putting it off. So I want you to hold me accountable.
I will do that.
Holding a candle. And there are all these other candles around, right? And I'm holding this one candle, and I light a candle.
Yeah.
And then I light another candle.
Yeah.
And then I light another candle. And I show how this candle is still lit, even though it lit all the other candles around it. It doesn't put out this flame.
Yes.
I really want to, because people say that all the time, but I really want people to see it.
To get a visual,
visual of that experience.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So that's the one thing for me is creative self-expression, being bold, being outspoken about your purpose and your mission. I had to fight all my life, but the moment I learned to stop fighting and learn to be in the flow, game changer.
Yep. Absolutely.
Game changer. So,
absolutely. Well, thank you, Kimmie, for coming and shining your light on my show here. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Michelle.
Absolutely. It was my pleasure.
Do you have any more questions for me? I know you got another question for me.
Oh, I've always got, are you kidding? We could do this all day long if you really want to. the last question, the question I tend to ask is just, as you feel in, is there any last nugget that you want to leave us with? Anything that you feel has been left unsaid or will wrap things up, or just something that is quintessentially Kimmie?
I have a life motto.
Okay.
That I love to share.
Go for it.
My life motto is this: live life as best you can, allowing others to do the same without causing any intentional hurt, harm, or pain.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for your bright spirit, for your passion.
It's such an honor to be here. It's such an honor to be here, Michelle. Thank you for holding space.
Absolutely.
Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for allowing your light to shine. Thank you for allowing yourself to be a vessel.
Right back at you. Mwah! Thank you. Thank you.
And then we have to put our hands up to the screen like this before we go. Hands up. And then we say, from me to you, I want you to feel my energy.
I want you to feel my energy.
Know that I am here for you.
Know that I am here for you.
And I send you love.
And I send you love.
Light.
Light.
Prayers.
Prayers.
And blessings.
And blessings.
All right. Bye-bye.